funny, but she came out. Let's go around and see if she's gonna come back. How funny was that? As we were leaving, of course, she pops her head over, and she didn't even come up to the car this time. I'm disappointed. Normally when we see her, she's so excited and she's bouncing around and she can't wait to come up to the car and smell the new smells. Not today. She's just on that side, so we've just got to do a bit of navigating. We should get her again. Right. Woo! I don't remember this gap being so tight. Hey? Yeah, everything's just grown. The rain, it's amazing how quickly the vegetation... No, I'm just joking. That didn't actually happen. Okay, watch that one. Now watch what's going to happen. We're going to get around here and then she's going to go back across to the other side. There's this massive branch we have to go over. Ah, ha, ha. Nothing that low range can't sort out. Oh, there's an adult. Hi, adult hyena. I should have just come around this way first time. Hello, hyenas. Don't be scared, Ntima. That's unlike you. Just trying to get us in this little gap. I'm obviously trying to go as quietly as I can. Now, Ntima, don't let her fool you because she's being a drama queen now. She normally runs up to the cars and can't wait to say hello. No, she's just staring at us. Yes, hello, princess. Oh, she's so cute. I always find that young hyenas at this age sort of resemble, I suppose, the striped hyena or even an aardwolf if you use your imagination when they're this young. Look at her, strutting her stuff. Yes, this is the greeting that I normally expect, Ntima. Hello, young lady. Oh, this is such a gorgeous creature. You know, I don't care what anybody says about hyenas. I know that the Lion King has, unfortunately, painted these creatures to be nasty and destructive and evil, but that's really not what they are. Hyenas are one of the most intelligent animals out here. If any animal is going to give an elephant a run for being the smartest animal in the African bush, it's definitely the hyena. A spotted hyena, particularly. They've got a very intricate social structure, and I presume that that's ribbon laying there. It will be confirmed if young Ntima decides to suckle. Now, we haven't been, or I can only talk again from my experience. I seem to not have too much luck with the hyenas in terms of seeing massive group interactions around the den. Every time I've come here, it's one or two adults and then Ntima, and then when the other little one was still around. But they've obviously all moved off now. But I'm still convinced they're using another den somewhere. Look at her. She's come so close to the car that unfortunately now you can't see her anymore. And now I've got to watch her because I don't want her to bite my tires. So while you do that, I'm going to stand up just a little bit. And I'm going to make her just a gentle noise, not anything subtle. I just tapped the dashboard. That's it. Very soft and subtle. You may have heard it. She can't bite the tires. She can't learn that she can touch the vehicle and pull the tailgate lights off and things like that. We don't want that. See, we don't want her to get hold of a piece of material that she's not going to be able to digest, because let me tell you, like children, like dogs, young dog, or any young pet, they can be quite destructive and they want to put everything in their mouths. Imagine the hyena's super sense of smell as well. Anything that has got anything to do with humans is very attractive to them. And we use hand lotions, we use body washes, we use petrol, we use all sorts of things that maybe a hyena doesn't get to smell all the time. So it's a new sense to them, and because of their intelligence level, they're of course very excited by this, and especially a youngster. So just as I will reprimand an elephant bull when he gets too cheeky at the car, you need to make sure we don't let this little one learn that she can, of course, bite the tires. It'll be terrible for us. So just a little, I didn't even have to raise my voice, because I also don't want her to associate my voice with something negative, just because it's a hyena and it's not really a threat to us. So just a slight little tap, just to go, hey, that's naughty. But you can see, look how curious she is. She's gone, Mom's having a sleep. Well, okay, Mom, you keep relaxing. I'm just going to walk around and do my own thing. I'm going to do a bit of investigating, and they are very curious, so they do wonder. I don't think she's going to go too far, but I wouldn't be surprised if she goes wandering during the day. These young animals just cannot help themselves. We see it with lion cubs, we see it with leopard cubs. We actually saw it really amazingly with Hosana and Shongile, how naughty the two of them were, and would just go off and do their own thing whenever they wanted. There is Ribbon. You can confirm for me if you'd like. You can hashtag Safari Live. It's obviously quite difficult from this angle, but I'm sure it is. She's going to come back this way because she's bored. She didn't find anything on the other side of the den. Not bringing back a bone or a stick to chew on. Lulu, who is also a new viewer, you say that this hyena is so fluffy. Most certainly, and it's important. We see this with all the young animals out in the bush. They typically do have a fluffier coat just to keep them nice and warm during the cold mornings and the cold evenings. We saw it with the little blacksmith lapwing chicks too, how fluffy they are. That's very important. But they will lose it. You saw with Mom, her coat's quite sort of smooth. So this little one will lose that fluffiness. I reckon about maybe a year and a half. It'll start to resemble more of an adult. Maybe even a little bit later than that. How great is this? I really wish we had more hyena cubs. It would be so great to watch them play. Now, a lovely question from one of our youngest viewers, Tayla Ann, who's only 5 years old, wanting to know if this hyena will jump into the car by accident. So, no, I don't think so, Tayla Ann, but I don't know if I'd like a hyena on my lap either, so I hope not. And that's why I did what I did just now. Made a sort of a noise just to say, hey, no, you need to respect the vehicle. You can come up and you can sniff, but you can't touch. And that's important that we keep that barrier between the animals. It's not to allow them to touch the cars. And it's actually a problem we see most with elephants, becoming quite curious again. Super sensitive smell. So they are very much intrigued by the different scents in the car, just as I was discussing about the hyenas. So it's important that we make sure we keep that sort of boundary. Look at her. She was looking at a bird that just flew past. Not that she'd typically be interested in wanting to hunt something like that. Obviously, the behavior between lions and leopards I find completely different to something like a hyena. We often see lion cubs and lion and leopard cubs, very excited, sort of wanting to stalk the birds that are coming past. My goodness, some francolins and things making big noise behind me. Actually got the attention of the female hyena there. No, eyes are heavy, going back to sleep again. Not too worried. So she wants to play more. She's not really developing her stalking skills. If anything, a hyena doesn't necessarily stalk its prey. Try and get as close as it can because they're very good hunters, but it will chase them down and use strength in numbers. Now, I can't work out if these birds are having a territorial dispute because there's lots of francolins calling all around me, or if they're alarming. But the fact that Ribbon's also gone back to sleep maybe puts my... Now, Tiffany, you're wondering why do we name the hyena cubs at such a young age, but we're not with the leopard cubs? I actually don't know, to be honest. I wasn't involved in the naming of the hyenas. What have you seen, little one? Maybe just because maybe the hyenas have got a better success rate than the adults, but then again, we see siblicide being performed. So, it's a difficult one. Sorry, I actually can't answer this question. I have no idea as to how to respond to that one. But remember, these animals, all of them, hyenas, leopards, lions, all these youngsters have a very tough life. And the reality is that most of them won't actually make it to adulthood at all. And I think it's best that we try not to name things too early because you become more and more attached to them, and rather just wait for them to get to a certain age. I think 6 months is good. A year is even better. It just depends on, I suppose, how often we're seeing them too. But it is a tough one. You're very intrigued by something. She's looking at this fallen log. So I know this might sound very silly. I wonder if she can hear like little insects and things moving around inside that wood, because there's no birds here that could get her attention. I don't know. She's looking around. I can't quite work out what. But their hearing is so good. Look at those big round ears. like little satellites. This is so great. How wonderful is this? I love the hyenas. I really do enjoy spending time with them, so we'll probably sit here for a little bit longer. I'm going to send you across to Byron, who has arrived back at Tayla Dam. Yes, and Ntima keeps coming back and forth. I have been fairly lucky today compared to some of my other excursions, which have been on the quiet side. And Ntima, please, you are going close to my tires. Is she biting them? Sebastian can see her. It's very difficult. I'm trying to work out what on earth she is doing. Oi. Oi. I'm watching you. I'm not really watching her, but... Hey. She won't go. Sebastian, please can you just tap the edge there just so she doesn't bite the tire? Naughty. Look at her. Sorry, Megan, may I have that question again? We're basically it's like training a naughty child now. I will leave you in Ntima. If you carry on like this, I will go away. Now, I don't want to start the car because it's going to give her a fright. Now, I just want her to learn that it's not acceptable to touch the car. I think she's realized this on her own, that she's been shouted at. And you can see Mom doesn't care. Mom's like, you tell her, I've told her 10 times and she's not listening to me. Maybe if it comes from a stranger, it will work. I suppose that's parenting 101, isn't it? And here she comes again. And she just can't help herself. She's so curious. It's so exciting for her. She's a friend. Remember, she wouldn't be coming up to us if she was petrified of us. But we want to keep this relationship positive, of course. And it is. I mean, if she didn't like it that I was making those noises, she'd run away and go straight into the burrow and hide and not come back out. So I'll just keep very gently and very softly telling her no. As long as she doesn't go to my tires, I'm quite happy that she hangs around here. That's fine. Look at her. She wants to go for the rubber. Now, remember, it must be quite nice. Hey.
It's going to turn into a game.
Naughty, yeah. It's exactly what Seb says. It's going to turn into a game now. We might actually go just now because I don't want her to get sort of too cocky around the car, if you will. You know, I don't want her to learn that she can keep doing this, but they do. This is normal for hyenas. Hyenas come around the cars all the time. Don't be naughty. Now, Bree, you say it's hard not to fall in love with his face. That's the problem that I'm having now. And that I'm going, oh, she's so cute, though, and I don't want to shout at her or reprimand her. I suppose you can't really call what I'm doing shouting, because if I had to shout, I'll tell you right now, I'd send both those hyenas into the den with my loud, booming voice. They definitely wouldn't like that. It is, and that's what I love so much about, well, working on Safari Live, is that you get to spend so much intimate time with these animals that I wasn't necessarily always able to do as a guide. Obviously, you always have your favorites on the particular property that you're working at, and various elephants that come through, or leopards and lions. But to physically just sit here for hours and hours on end, you were never really able to do this with guests. Some guests, yes, that have been on safari many times and understood the bush and come on a regular basis. But there's always a checklist to get through. You not always get to see all the things that you want to, and you try and spend as much time as you can. But you're definitely pressured as a guide to show your guests a variety of different animals, whereas I would quite happily just spend 3 hours with hyenas, 3 hours with elephant, maybe 6 hours with elephants, and 5 minutes with lions and leopards. No, I'm just teasing, of course not. When they're doing stuff, they're very interesting. But now, Ntima seems to have found herself, it looks like a little shard of bone of some sort. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's from one of the very many buffalo carcasses that are around and in this area. The Mkuhuma Pride have killed many buffalo around here. Yes, and Nancy, you say she's found a toy. Yes, something that's not my car, and I'm quite happy with that. So good girl. You keep chewing on your bone. Isn't that delicious? Look at that face. I love it when their eyes almost roll back a little bit and you start to see the white peering through. It gives them a very sweet look. Now, it looks like she's got a tick or something on her eye, on top of her eyelid. I can just see a bit of red. I wonder what that is. Probably a tick. Remember, these animals, even though you can't see it because she is so fluffy, they still will have parasites all over them. That won't be bothering her too much. Normally when ticks get too fat, they get to a point, they just drop off in the end. I'm not really worried about it there. Enjoy all the birds. Lots and lots of birds chatting away now. Now, Karsten from Denmark, you said that she's almost as cute as Tumba. I think this little hyena could give little Tumba a run for his money, though he's gorgeous, though. He is definitely the epitome of pretty. He just oozes, as attractive as what a leopard could be. Tumba is definitely that, but I reckon that this young lass here, she's very precious. She's got very interesting markings all over her body. I love the bits of white that are still white that come through that dark black fur. Off she goes on another adventure. But I think what we're going to do now is, I love, and I could sit here for hours and hours, but because she's getting a bit too curious every now and then with the car, I don't want her to come right to the tire. So I think that was fantastic for today. Let's not push our luck too much. We'll come back tomorrow morning and have another look at the hyenas. So while I try and navigate out of this area that I've got myself into, let's go back across to Byron.